But this is fun now. Getting here is fun. Getting here is fun. Getting in this situation is fun. And then just going and doing things like this is even more fun.
You watch him and how happy he is. You saw that big smile. You wonder why he would retire. But there's also such a thing as going out on top.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's very few guys that can play this game at quarterback the way it has to be, and John Elway's one of the few.
But you look at around the NFL, and it's the mature quarterbacks that are getting the job done. Elway, touchdown.
And look at him. He knows he's going to get it, and he does it with a smile.
Atlanta hasn't been in the end zone yet. They got 2 field goals, missed one. Denver has intercepted and spoiled the last 3 drives.
Yeah, and they've spoiled it by being aggressive.
Yep.
I mean, they started. I think they were early. They were kind of sitting back, and then they figured that they have to put some pressure on Chris Chandler. And when they did, and they started to blitz him, then I think that changed things. I think that made them more aggressive. I think the Atlanta Falcons kind of got back on their heels. Let's watch this touchdown. There, we were talking about Mark Schlereth and the way that he blocks and how strong he is. And you see where he just gets his hands, and he's so strong. He just gets his guy pushed all the way back. Then he gets down there with John Elway and does a little celebration with him.
Good assist from Neyland, center.
Well, that whole group of 5 really works well together.
Here comes Tim Dwight again. Yeah, he's got some room to go. They're not going to catch him. Tim Dwight gone. Backs it in, and Atlanta finally scores a touchdown. 94 yards by Tim Dwight. He came close 2 or 3 other times. 31-12.
That was the life that they needed.
They needed it quickly, and they got it quickly.
And that's the speed. And again, you watch the wedge here. They're holding hands. Now, Tim Dwight has to get right into that wedge. See, he starts up to that. Then he finds his wedge. Then he breaks away from it. Makes a great move right there. And at this point, when he gets by Jason Elam, it is just speed.
Yep.
In fact, Tim Dwight is a track man. He's going back to Iowa. I mean, he's playing pro football now. He's going to go back to Iowa in his senior year next year and run track. He's going from the Super Bowl team to the college track team.
I was just going to ask you about going for 2, but forget the asking. Extra points good. 31-13.
Following Tim Dwight's electrifying 94-yard kickoff return, the Falcons attempted an onside kick, but Denver's Byron Chamberlain recovered, leaving the Broncos with great field position once again. Jason Elam finally capped a 7-play, 54-yard drive when he converted from 37 yards and extended Denver's lead to 34-13. So could the Falcons pull out another fourth-quarter comeback? We join their next drive from their own 24-yard line with just 7 minutes remaining.
Chandler has it batted up in the air, and for the first time in a while, it's not picked off.
Yeah, Chandler's had a rough day. I mean, they've been getting after him. I think it's Trevor Price this time. Watch number 93. He's coming around here in a stunt. You see the 2 tackles crossed, and by the time he gets there, Trevor Price doesn't get blocked. He's there a little late too. But that's the old stunt, and it just goes right off the helmet. It was Alfred Williams. You see that? The ball hit him right in the helmet. That's when the quarterback throws it too low.
2nd and 10 from the shotgun. Chandler pointing. Chandler dropped, and he's rushed again. Gets away from it. He's going to run. Gets out to about the 29 or 30. 6:40. Clock running, and that's the big item right now.
Yeah, and look what they've done to Chandler today. They've sacked him twice, hurried him 10 times. He was hit after he threw it 3 times, and he's been intercepted 3 times. And that was one of the things that the Broncos talked about. One of the things that they had to do defensively was rattle Chris Chandler.
I think they've succeeded.
I think they've done a pretty good job. Now they've taken away the running game because time becomes a factor, and they can just go after him.
3rd down. Chandler from the shotgun. Not much time again, they go deep. The pass is caught by Martin. He's knocked out of bounds, and he had it, they say. He was airborne and hit just as he started out of bounds, and he might be hurt.
You know what the rule here is, if he's up in here when he has control of the ball, and he would have come down with both feet in bounds.
I think he was down anyway.
He was down anyway, but if he was going to come down with both feet in bounds and he's pushed out, then that would be a legal reception.
Three wide receivers set up. One of them is not Martin this time. Ronnie Harris and Tim White are in the game, along with Jesse. Here's Chandler. Again, the ball is batted up in the air. Anderson had circled out of the backfield. I believe that's where he was looking.
Yeah, that's another thing we should have put in those stats of things that have happened to Chris Chandler today is the batted ball. Because, again, you know, you don't always get to the quarterback on sacks, but you can get what you call a push on the quarterback, where you push right into his face, and you push to that point, then you get your hands up. That time it was Alfred Williams again.
Yep.
See, now, Chris Chandler, he almost fumbles that ball, and now watch him as he goes back there. He's starting to look down to look or feel the rush.
2nd and 10. Chandler. Inside Anderson. Cross midfield, not enough for a first. It'll bring up 3rd down, about 6. Darius Johnson up to make the stop. Martin back on his feet.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the good news is he's back on his feet. The bad news is he's not out on the field because the only thing they needed Tony Martin out there now.
Atlanta still without the offensive touchdown since Minnesota back in Super Bowl IX. That hasn't happened.
Yeah, well, they've squandered so many opportunities.
They really have. Yeah.
That's going to be their story. Denver's story is going to be very aggressive.
This time he has time. Gets it out, pass caught by Terrence Mathis on his knees. Chandler just got rid of it before he was hit. Well, that's going to be one of the stories, the missed opportunities. The other will be what happened with Eugene Robinson last night. I'm sure you were familiar with that.
Yeah, that's going to be one that is going to be discussed for a long time. And as a coach and a teammate, it has to be real disappointing because it really was a distraction.
Yeah.
But that isn't why they're losing this game.
This is Jamal Anderson for just 2 or 3 yards. Atlanta has all 3 of their timeouts. Denver has 2. 34-13.
You know, another big story has to be John Elway. I mean,
sure.
You know, because I think that he'll be the MVP of this game.
I would agree with you.
Win back-to-back Super Bowls, and how do you retire after all that? Although Jim Brown did.
Go out on top.
That's what Jim, go out on top, and maybe that's the thing.
Chandler hurried up, got it out to Mathis, who's looking for someplace to go but can't find it. Ray Crockett faced him down all the way.
Now, that's the thing that you want to do now. I mean, you have, if you're Denver, you're ahead 34-13. You want to play a soft defense, keep them in bounds, and don't let them get easy or quick ones on you. John Elway's goofing around down there now. You know, he had fun at this Super Bowl. I mean, he was loose and laughing and, you know, in practice and everything. This was a very enjoyable week for John Elway.
Chandler up the middle, incomplete. Chandler's down. Intended for Tim White. Chandler got hit just as he let it go.
It's a middle linebacker, Glenn Cadrez. You see him right there.
Whoa.
He was falling down. Ooh, and he got Chandler right on that right knee.
No call. Bernie Kukar was standing right there looking at him.
I think Cadrez was blocked into him because he started to fall about 4 yards in front of him.
3 minutes, 8 seconds left. Big 4th down coming up for Atlanta. Mathis on the move. They pick up the blitz. And they're going to get the 1st down to Terrence Mathis. Down to the 24, just inside the 25. Dan Reed. I don't know if he's calling plays or suggesting plays or what he's doing.
Well, you know, Chris Chandler was telling us yesterday that even though Jack Burns calls the plays, Steve DeBerg calls them in to Chandler, Dan Reed gets more involved as the game goes on. I would think he would be pretty involved now.
First down. They go bunch on the left, and now Santiago was the man in motion. Across the middle. That's Ronnie Harris.
Yeah, I think that he's calling plays now.
I think so,
Dan
too.
Reeves is calling the plays now.
You know, one of the first things that happened when the two teams got here was Dan Reeves, when questioned in a press conference, said he wasn't too fond of Mike Shanahan or John Elway. That sort of went away with the other distractions that they had. But there was some gnashing of teeth about what went on in Denver. Here's Chandler in the corner. Over the head, just barely, Tim Dwight.
Well, you know, those things were all facts. I mean, that wasn't just some rumor or something was brought up. What happened was Dan Reeves was fired by the Denver Broncos.
Yes.
Dan Reeves did fire Mike Shanahan for insubordination. John Elway wasn't always happy playing under Dan Reeves. Those things all happened.
Yeah.
Those were all facts. So
John Elway said, in fact, you know, I'm sort of famous for all those come-from-behind drives, the drives at the end of the game. Maybe I wouldn't have to come from behind so much if it hadn't been for Dan Reeves.
but Dan Reeves is a heck of a coach.
Oh, yeah.
You put all the top coaches in this game, Dan Reeves is right up there with them.
Yes. Ronnie Harris, and he's knocked out of bounds.
That had to be an audible. I mean,
Yep.
Ronnie Harris was out here, and the closest guy to him, I think, was Ray Crockett, who was about 12 yards off him. Chris Chandler saw that and just called an audible, just threw it out there to Ronnie Harris.
34-13 the score. 2:17 remaining. Atlanta still hasn't used a timeout.
And those are the eyes of a guy that can't believe that it happened to him, because in his mind, he didn't picture it this way.
First and goal. First and goal at the 3. Chandler back in the shotgun. Out of the end zone and almost picked off by Denver. They had a couple of shots at it. It was knocked straight up in the air. Romanowski, Mobley both had a shot at picking it off, but didn't get it. Atwater was back there as well. I thought they might run the play out of the shotgun to Anderson.
But Steve Atwater, he's going to come in right there and tip the ball. See number 27? Like he tipped it up and almost had it. If John Mobley doesn't come in,
Atwater had it.
this could have been an interception here by Atwater. He goes to intercept it. And his own guy, John Mobley, comes and knocks him over.
Second and goal. Chandler. Incomplete. No flag. No flag. That looked like interference, but no flag is called. No flag is thrown.
Now, we said earlier that that's one thing about Super Bowls. A lot of times championships, too, is they do let them play. If you're going to get away with something, they let you get away with more. Although, that was good coverage there. I mean, you know, his left hand, Tyrone Braxton may have been on him, but I think that's pretty good. I mean, I would let that go, too.
I agree with you. After watching it on the replay, which we might have next year.
Well, we will have next year.
Third and goal on the 3. Chandler. Touchdown. Mathis. That's their first offensive touchdown. They still have 3 timeouts left. Denver has 2. They're going to go for 2, I think.
Mathis here, he starts outside, and then he's going to come in motion. In fact, he gets in between the tight end and the tackle. He gets lost in there, yeah, and then he comes out of that hole outside of his tackle. You see right there, Chandler sees him and hits him perfectly.
Terrence Mathis's score was approved too little, too late. Atlanta went for a 2-point conversion, but Chris Chandler's pass was way wide of the mark. Again, the Falcons attempted an onside kick, but again, Byron Chamberlain was to recover. Atlanta would get their hands on the ball once more in the dying seconds of the game, but in a manner that summed up their Super Bowl, Jamal Anderson was to fumble the ball back to Denver. It was a cue for the celebrations to begin. as the Denver Broncos became only the 6th NFL team to repeat as Super Bowl champions.
Pat and Mike, you faced a very, very tough Atlanta Falcons team at the top of its game. But today, your team, the Denver Broncos, capped another outstanding season with a dominating performance. Congratulations to the two of you and to the whole team on becoming the first AFC team in almost 20 years to win back-to-back Super Bowls. And a special word to you, John. If, and I underline if, this is your last game, on behalf of millions of fans around the world, I want to say thank you to you for so many memorable memories. John Elway, thank you.
Pat, this is your 5th Super Bowl since you own the Denver Broncos. I have to suspect that the best 2 moves that you've made as owner, number 1 was bringing Mike Shanahan back as your head coach, and number 2, convincing, if that's a good word, John Elway into coming back for a 16th season.
Well, I hope I can convince him to come back for a 17th. But I'd like to just say a few things. First of all, I'd like to thank Mike, his coaches, and the team for the greatest season ever in Bronco history, 19-2 and a Super Bowl win. I'd like to thank the fans. I'd like to thank the fans, all the people who worked on the stadium effort and voted for it. And lastly, I'd like to thank my family and my close friends without whose support I would never be here. 4 words. This one's for you.
Pat Bowlen, owner, Denver Broncos. Mike Shanahan, step in here, coach. Here, get your hands on that. It's getting to be a...
Feels awful good.
It feels good?
Feels great.
Let me ask you, it looked like if there's one play that turned this game around was the 80-yard touchdown pass to Rod Smith right after Morton Anderson missed the field goal.
You're right. In fact, a little bit earlier, we ran the same play and we hit a comeback route. We came back with the same type of action. John had a little time, did a great job hitting Rod Smith on that post route. It was a big turnaround.
You seem to have made all the right moves. This football team has won 32 games in the last 2 years. It has won back-to-back Super Bowls. I mean, if you had to point one finger at one thing, this defense of yours, the adjustments that you made in the second half, the 3 interceptions of Chandler, the fumble, what were the keys in the second half?
Well, Terry, we just got a football team that believes in each other. Every time we go out in the field, we got 46 guys that are committed. We've had some ups and downs, more ups and downs, but when guys keep on working together and they believe in each other, good things happen. I couldn't be more proud of this football team and the players and our coaching staff.
Now, this is a tough question for you. Are you interested in John Elway coming back to be your quarterback for a 17th season?
I would love John to come back next season. He's going to have to sit down and decide that, but what he's meant to this organization, to this city, and to be able to get 2 Super Bowls in the world, I mean, in 2 consecutive years is just unbelievable. I want him to come back for the 3rd, but he's going to have to make that decision on his own.
All right, Mike Shanahan, congratulations very much. Let's bring in the MVP of Super Bowl 33, John Elway. John. Here you go. Tilt that up high. There you are. It looks like winning Super Bowls is kind of becoming an old habit for you.
It sure is nice to start a little bit later than I wanted to, but it's sure nice to win them.
Let me ask you, John, the first half, a lot of passes to Rod Smith. What were the changes? The second half, McCaffrey, John Madden was talking about that. Well, don't forget about McCaffrey in the second half. Your running game a little sluggish starting off. What were the adjustments that you made, especially when Shannon Sharp went out with an injury?
Well, you know, we always miss Shannon, and we missed him today, but Byron Chamberlain came in and did a great job, and we were getting some things, to Rod in the first half, and they started taking him away, and they were playing us some man coverage, and then Eddie just kept working. That's the great thing about this offense is there's so many different weapons that we can spread the ball around. If they start taking something away, we have someplace else to go.
And this season, you have set so many milestones, 50,000 yards passing, 300 touchdown passes. Today, you're the MVP in this league, going back to another Pro Bowl. On and on we go, John. It's hard for me to imagine. And you told me now, on tape, I've got it, where you said, Terry, if we win, back-to-back Super Bowls, I will come back. Now, my question is, now, are you going to keep your word? Are you coming back for a 17th season?
You know what? I don't know. I think that this definitely throws a kink in it, but I'm going to take some time, really relish this win, and it's been a great year. It was a lot of fun, and I got the greatest teammates in the world. I'm just happy that I could play with them, and we'll sit down and figure out what happens next year.
Now, if in fact, no one, John, I have to tell you this, of the 6 teams that have repeated as world champions, no one has ever come back and three-peated. Now, you know, that's got to be quite a thrill. I mean, I would love to have done that. Surely that's got to be crossing your mind even as we stand here right now.
You got to love those challenges. But we got the team and we got the nucleus to here to do it, and so, like I said, it definitely throws a kink in my thinking.
I imagine it does. Let me ask you one thing. How long? I mean, last year it took a little longer for you to make a decision on coming back, but will this be a quick decision on your behalf?
You know, I would hope so, but I think that, heck, that's what I came back for, is to enjoy a Super Bowl and enjoy a Super Bowl win. And so, again, I'm gonna enjoy this win and you know, just spend some time with my kids.
I'm not going to let you alone.
I know that. And then we'll go from there.
You know what? Give me a call, will you, when you make your decision, so I'll be the first to know.
You got it.
Okay, John Elway, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring in Terrell Davis. Terrell! Here you go.
That's how my baby, you the man.
It looked to me like Atlanta was ready for you the first quarter especially, Terrell. Not many holes. I know against the Jets you ran a lot to the left, tonight a lot to the right. It also appears to me that you gave the Atlanta defense a migraine headache.
Well, coming in here, we knew that the Atlanta defense was going to be tough, and it was going to be tough to run the ball on, but John came through in the clutch. He was throwing the ball well, and our team just stuck together and made some big plays. I got to give a shout-out to my teammates down there. They're not getting enough love, baby. Here you go. Shout-out to my boys down there.
You know, was the plays to Howard Griffith at the goal line, were those new plays put in just for the Atlanta Falcons because everyone expected Terrell Davis to carry the ball?
Well, we saw something in the defense that on the jab play that the fullback was getting in pretty easy, so we decided to put Howard, give him the ball, let him be the hero today. He did a great job of getting there, lowering his shoulder, and, you know, taking... Where my man Griff at anyway?
Howard Griffith.
Where my man Griff at?
First of all, congratulations to the Denver Broncos. You know, what a great football team. To, you know, have the record now for the most wins in 3 years tells you what a great football team they are. And my congratulations to them. We just couldn't get it done. You know, things that we had done all year very well was, you know, be good in the red zone. And today, you know, we missed a field goal. We missed a 4th down attempt. We settled for 2 field goals. We throw 2 interceptions. You just can't win if you don't get in the red zone and, you know, score a touchdown.
Yeah. What did you tell the team here as you knelt down for the prayer?
Well, first of all, we had an awful lot of things to be thankful for, and I told them a couple of weeks ago the highest of highs is to win a championship game, the lowest of low is to, you know, lose a Super Bowl. But I was proud of them. You know, we accomplished an awful lot, came an awful long ways. You know, we want to try to get back. You know, next year we'd have home field advantage, so that's our goal. We're going to try to have home field advantage.
And that'll help that out.
There you go. That was Dan Reeves, the losing coach, and
with Ron Pitts, whose father scored a touchdown in the first Super Bowl.
Family connection, I'd like to see that. Mike Shanahan and John Elway, though, do you think they really wanted to beat this man? Because there is no love lost. There's no two ways about it. The commentary team touched it.
I don't think it was that big an issue until Reeves brought it up, and then that may have come in. Elway's always said the right thing. Shanahan has basically just left it all alone for years and never said anything about it. And all Shanahan said afterwards was he thought that the matter had been dead, you know. And so Reeves brought it up. A lot of people thought that Reeves had brought it up as a tactical move, but I really just believe that he has hurt feelings, you know, and because he's such a gentleman off the field, basically, and I just think he was done wrong, and he resents it still.
Yeah, I mean, not to rub salt in the wound there, would Minnesota have made it a closer game? I mean, they were the clear second favourites to be in this Super Bowl, weren't they?
It's arguable because you look at the way Minnesota played the second half against Atlanta when the pressure was on, and in the overtime against Atlanta, and then you think, well, you know, the same kind of thing might have happened as happened to the Falcons in this game. The Falcons, remember, didn't play a bad game in the first half. They just, you know, it turned on about 2 or 3 plays. They started to collapse in the second half and just couldn't put it together, even though Denver tried to keep them in the game in the third quarter.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, really, you know, when it gets down to it across the whole game, was there much else that Atlanta could have done? I mean, Chandler, you know, he did get the ball batted about the place rather a lot.
They had to protect him better. That was the biggest problem. The second problem was they never did get over the middle. O.J. Santiago was a non-factor in this game, and that, to me, was probably their single biggest offensive shortcoming. They never got back to Jamal Anderson enough, but, I mean, you look at their drives, and on all these drives, it's 10-yard, 15-yard, 10-yard, 13-yard interception. And two of the three interceptions I don't really believe were Chris Chandler's fault in the sense that he threw a bad ball. One was batted, and one his receiver handed the ball to the defensive back.
So it was a relatively easy way, one could argue, for Denver to repeat. And obviously we heard the talk there of the three-peat, and would Elway come back? I mean, is this squad strong enough to do it 3 times in a row, and with or without Elway?
Denver certainly is, even without Elway, possibly, although, Elway can make things happen in a way Bubby Brister can't. But they rolled over teams when Bubby Brister was a quarterback. They could certainly get back to a Super Bowl with him there because the system works so well, and Terrell Davis makes a quarterback so good. I believe Atlanta will have a tougher time because they're an older team, basically. But like Dan Reeves said, the Super Bowl's in Atlanta next year, so they've really got the impetus or the incentive to play for. But Atlanta's defense up front is young, but in the back is older. Denver's is pretty young. Romanowski's really the only, and the two safeties are the old guys in that defensive front. And I thought the real difference in this game, Kadrez, Mobley, and Romanowski, the Denver linebackers, played a tremendous game. They were everywhere on coverage and tackling the runners. That's right. Well, it was a great way to finish the season, seeing a great Denver team do it once again. That is the end of the action here from the NFL on that side of the Atlantic. Mind you, fear not, here on Channel 5 we'll have NFL from this side.
At 68.04, your goal for LOI.
33,000 feet per second. 35,000 feet per second.
47 forward. Another landing right now.
Quarterback into England territory, and he's got a man. It's Mario Brady, and that's a touchdown. Wide open.
Quinn turns and hands it to him again. And this time, Derek Clark has his second touchdown tonight and the unparalleled 17th of his career in Europe.
Cocker's punt taken by Joe Douglas. At the 14, slipped to a tackle. Douglas out in the open field. Clark got a block. He's got a block. Gets knocked out of bounds. The Ryan flips the ball. Oh, he flipped the ball, dropped midfield, still up, and on his feet. My goodness, what a play. Johnny Dixon, the safety, the veteran over here in NFL Europe, totally fooled everybody, including me.
Time he's got a man open, touchdown. Burks. They're down a long 3. Arianes getting for Burks. Burks makes a sliding grab. Did he get it? Yes, touchdown.
Do not underestimate the power of NFL Europe. New season kicks off in April. Channel 5 will be there covering it for you, Mike. It's great stuff, isn't it?
I love the league. Second best league in the world, but you see so many good players. I mean, Keith Traylor from this game blocks the Elway pass, NFL Europe. George Coghill, who made Jamal Anderson fumble, NFL Europe. Byron Chamberlain, who came in for Shannon Sharp, NFL Europe. You saw a lot of John Kitna there. We've seen so many good players and so many guys, you know, just below that NFL level. It's great. I really love doing it. I've been doing it, you know, since the second year of the league.
That's right. It's a league that's getting stronger and stronger. And as you say, you see the stars as well. Quick one, just before we go. Who's winning it next year? Super Bowl?
Who knows? You're not going to get me to say it now.
Could you
I'm
ask,
wrong often than not. Every Monday I've been wrong.
We've had a great season. Thanks very much for joining us. That was your Super Bowl for you. I'm having that T-shirt. Mike's having that one. We'll see you later.